Greetings, fellow users of the internet. Today I am coming to you once again from the floor of my spare bedroom. There's a saying that every picture tells a story. In this series, it's my goal to share my stories, feelings, challenges, and experiences with various photos I've taken over the years. Now, these aren't necessarily my best photos, not by a long shot, but all of them do have a special place in my heart or invoke a very special memory. So, without further ado, let's get going. Let's talk about the first picture. So, welcome to 1,000 Words. Today, I want to talk about this photo, but more specifically, I want to talk about persistence. Now, I'll be the first to admit that this is not the best photo I've ever taken. It's not even close to one of the best photos I've ever taken, and I wouldn't even go as far to say that it's a great photo or even a good photo. It's a photo. But I feel this photo has a lot of importance to it because I feel that it covers a very important topic when it comes to photography, and that's what it takes to be a great photographer. When people ask me what's the most important thing about getting into photography or improving their photography, only two words come to mind, and that's patience and perseverance. That's right, more important than gear, more important than knowledge, it's patience and perseverance. So first, a quick background about this photo. I took this photo on a beach located in Chigasaki in the autumn of 2017. Now, this was actually the second time I had come to this exact same spot in about 2 or 3 weeks. And this spot is not very close to my house. It takes on average between 45 minutes to an hour to get here on a good day. Over the weeks prior to this photo, I had imagined this photo in my head, night in and night out, thinking about the image I wanted to capture, so it was well worth the trip in my opinion. So for weeks I imagined this super long exposure photo in my head with the movement in the sky and the colors and the clouds from the setting sun while Fuji stood there pin sharp. With this photo in mind, I checked the weather forecasts day in and day out every single week, until one faithful day when the forecast called for cloudy skies in the afternoon with a break in the weather just in time for sunset. So, with a spring in my step, I packed my camera gear, I walked to the train station, and I took the 1-hour journey down to the beach in Chigasaki, and there I waited, and waited, and waited. Alas, the break in the clouds I had been promised never came. I sat there, alone and cold and disappointed as the clouds continued to roll in. But I had not been defeated. My camera never once left my bag that day. But I would be back. The photo I had envisioned would not remain in my head. I would capture this image. I was sure of it. Over the following week, I continued once again to check the weather forecast on my day off. And once again, it seemed that luck was on my side as the forecast called for clear skies in the afternoon and clouds rolling in just in time to capture the light of the setting sun on the following Tuesday. So once again, with a renewed sense of joy and yet another spring in my step, I packed my bags and I walked to the station and I got on the train and I set off once again to Chigasaki. When I arrived in Chigasaki, things were looking promising as the skies above me were clear. However, as I made the long walk to the beach, things quickly began to change. I arrived on the beaches once again, the same spot as before, 45 minutes before sunset, and to my dismay, the clouds had already begun to roll in and shroud Fuji in yet another veil of low-hanging clouds. I immediately knew that once again, after a long journey and promises of good weather, that I would not be capturing the picture I had envisioned. But the day was not over. I decided on this day to set up my camera and try my best to capture the mood and the atmosphere that day. So I sat there on the beach as the clouds continued to roll in, capturing long exposure after long exposure after long exposure on the cold December evening. After an hour or so, cold and hungry, I once again packed up my bags and headed home. I once again had failed to capture the image I had imagined in my head, and to this day, I still have not captured that photo, but I haven't given up. Fuji has vanished for yet another summer, and will not appear again until mid-November on the beaches of Chigasaki. And when Fuji returns to the beaches of Chigasaki, so shall I, to finally capture the picture I've been waiting for. However, I didn't leave empty-handed. I captured this image here that we're talking about today, but I also captured another image from another location in Chigasaki that I never would have noticed if it had not been for my failure that day. And while once again I'll admit that this is not one of the greatest photos I've ever taken, it was a nice opportunity to try my full manual 50mm Nikkor lens, and it was a good opportunity to do some more long exposure photography. Plus, I met a lot of really friendly old people who thought they would talk to me, because apparently when I have my camera, I'm much more approachable than usual. So if you want to make friends with elderly people in Japan, just carry a camera. It's the best way to make friends, apparently. So to any of you out there who are thinking about getting into photography, and for those of you who've already started photography and want to know how to get better, the key to success is failure. Learn from your mistakes, be patient, and persist. Do not give up. Keep going to the same spots to capture the images you imagined. Eventually, you will capture them, and the feeling you get when you capture those images will be well worth the effort. Boy, this video is a little bit like sappy. It feels like the Notebook up in here. Anyway, if you've liked this content, please feel free to watch my other videos. I've got a lot of other videos on my channel, so please check them out. Hopefully in the coming weeks I will have some more travel videos up, but my friend is coming to Japan, so I need to kind of front load my uploads right now, as I will not have time to edit anything. Of course, you can subscribe to this channel to watch more, and you can also follow me on Instagram. Right now, my channel, as you can tell, is tiny, and my Instagram, I'm not really that huge, so every single like, comment, and subscribe or follow truly means a lot to me, and I really appreciate the time you've taken to watch this video. So, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Hopefully not sitting in this room, but I can't make any promises. I'm pretty busy. Yeah, so this is the part where I cover the lens with my hand. So I'm going to do that. See you next time. Ugh, it was really slow.